Good afternoon, team. Welcome to Angular session. Uh, so in this session, actually, as Kavita shared those details, I share my screen. Okay, I share my screen, and now I am going to show what are the topics we are going to cover. Actually, these are all the topics we are going to cover. Even though topics are more than 10, we are going to cover everything within the 10 hours. Um, Though this is the advanced Angular session, the first two sessions for who don't know Angular are know very basic. Okay, so first two sessions. So introduction, TypeScript and Angular building blocks. So these things I am going to cover today and the next week. This session I am going to only cover the introduction session alone. So next session we will cover the TypeScript, what is the important new features for Angular code, and what are all the basic Angular building blocks. So that we will cover. That will help others who don't know Angular or showing very less knowledge in Angular. After that, we will cover deep things in for each and every topics. Okay, so I assume that in this Angular, just I want to know the types actually. Some person know Angular already, but they want to learn deep. So one, or this is a one type. Another type is you might have known other JavaScript framework, Vue.js or React. They want to learn Angular. So second type. The third type maybe uh, you are not familiar with the JavaScript framework, but you are familiar with other web kind of things. So MEC or JavaScript related web things that and all. But the final category is that I am working for only the wind farms, or only I am a backend developer. I am developing the endpoints and or database person, so or testing. So these four categories just I am assuming. So for that I am going to cover only the very basics for this session, and feel free to learn. The saying is that actually Angular is tougher than any other JavaScript framework. Maybe this may be true, but comparatively, if you compare with uh, ASP.NET, MEC, definitely Angular is very easier than this is my opinion. Since I have worked in both the technology for more than 5 years each, so I feel Angular is very less topics covered. So when comparative with others, this may be tougher to learn kind of things because Angular is the framework, but React or other Vue.js and also library. So since the framework, it provides all those things. We need not go for any other feature outside of the world. Some basic things I'm talking. So this is what the people says the Angular is a tougher tool and the learning curves and all. So more for Angular. Okay, don't fear and don't bother about these things. Definitely, this is easier one. So I have learned so many languages. I have more than 20 years experience. So in my experience, I am telling. So I also knew 6 months before, 6 years before, I was new for this Angular. I learned on first Angular JS. After 8 months, I came to know that the next version is coming. This is entirely rewrite of Angular. So we need to learn that one. That was very easy only, easy skipping only. So don't bother about that. Don't skip. So no. I go for React. Even though we know one JavaScript framework, nothing wrong with learning other things and all. So you will identify this uh, after attending at least three classes. So Angular is a very easy thing only, but you need to understand the basics. As already said, you might have coming from different category, different background. So this class I am going to cover only a very basic. Okay, So Angular is the open source and JavaScript framework. What is open source? Open source means we need not go for license. We not pay any money for that. Also, we can contribute in adding features. I said, if you are a developer, you can go and pick any new features. So if you are thinking, so these features available in Vue.js or C Sharp or React, this thing, it would be fine if we have in Angular means you can raise ticket. Okay. And if you're willing to add that feature is in Angular, you can go and get the Angular code. So Angular repository you can get and contribute that. Actually, in the last link I have given, this is a Angular repository. I show this. Actually, this is the Angular repository. In GitHub, it's available. Anyone can download and contribute. Okay, so you can see here, 220 PR, full requests are available. So you can clone your project and start contributing. So this is a open source. Open source means these are two things. One, you can contribute. The other side, this is a free. Okay, so this is a open source and used for the client side and single page application. Actually, what is client side? So first of all, just to let's discuss why Angular, why JavaScript framework, when other superstar available, MEC, in .NET, so many years ruling level, in Java side, PHP, so many things are there. Why suddenly it came to picture? React or Vue or Angular and all, why it came? So this is because the client side rendering and the server side rendering. Okay, first let's understand what is the client side and the server side rendering. Okay, let's look at this picture. In this picture, first the browser as for the website. So if you request google.com or any other website first time, actually what it will go, when request to go here actually your requested page will be rendering in server where you host your application, AWS or Azure or your own server, where you have server, that area only rendering. Rendering means page creation, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that are all put into one single page and it will be returned to here. So this picture explains that only. So once you request the page, server returns HTML and CSS to your browser, also JavaScript. And also other thing is that which page you are requesting, that page only will be sent to by server. Okay. But on other hand, in JavaScript framework, Angular, Vue, or Next.js or React and all, it acts differently. Actually, first time if you request any page, so login screen, let's start with login screen. When you request, so entire application will be sent to your browser. Okay, so this is the different. Here, first page you get successfully. When you go for navigate the next second page also should come with server. Here, the load will be increasing in server side. Okay, but in JavaScript framework, since the entire thing coming into our browser, next page and all will be rendering here itself. It won't go to the server. Only data it will go. Okay, but other resources will be available in server itself. Just to let's take some common example. Any marriage function or any other function, if it goes there, buffet system are available. So on one area biryani is available. A lot of people wanting the biryani. So everyone go and get the biryani there. So what will happen? There will be the huge queue will be formed. So what about the last person and in between the person and all? It will take get the biryani, right? So like that, for the big traffic websites, so Amazon or some other busy website and all, everyone request for some product. Some product having some offering means everyone try to get that project. What will happen? Our request will go. huge queue will be there. And for every page, so server is only one. So normal, we can have different way, but just for example purpose, let's say server is one, but client is many. So we are sitting here eight, or including the online person, so maybe 20. So other person, when we request the same resource, same page, means server will down sometimes. Okay, so it will delay, timeout. Many issue was happened before. So this was the main issue. So on other hand, the food service, in your table, everything available, biryani, 65, and what and all you go for the buffet system, everything available in your table itself means you can take and have it very fastly. So this is the, just to understand in that way. Okay, that's why people went for client side application. So here also we have some problem, because here entire load will be transferred to client side. First time, the such in other case, in server case, one page only at a time you will request. Okay, but in JavaScript framework, once only, but entire thing. Okay, so entire thing will be sitting on your browser. The load will be on browser. How your browser should handle, but how they have handled in JavaScript framework, how they have handled. Let's look more. So if I tell what are the ways they are handling the client side load and all, means you cannot understand within without entering into one big building. If people explain about the room will be like that, this that means you cannot understand, right? So just assume that we will explain about that, how the client side the issue and all is there, how the lazy loading means module by module they will get. That and all we will learn more. So this is the concept of server side or client side, where the load here sharing here mostly. So this is about the client side. We used to for the client side rendering. In Angular, it's a client side rendering, and single page application. What is single page application? Single page application means there will be only one page for your entire website. For server side rendering or other website, other than single page application, also. So each page only will be load at a time. But what is the difference is that here index.html is one page. Within that index.html page, all your page will be loaded. That's why the routing, some advanced concept came to the picture. For other things and all, that is not needed. But here single page. So the Google is a best example for single page application. So let's try. Let's search something. If you search product means, see it gives explanation. You know this and all. We have only one page. Okay, if you select image means it will show all the images later thing, but it won't load some other page, same page, but it gives all the information. Okay, so this is called actually single page application. It has several meanings. For just understanding the purpose, you understand this. When we go for the next session, you will understand more about this. Okay. So Angular for client side and SPA application, and this is component based architecture. So architecture means actually MEC. So many type of architecture is available, right? As per Angular, this is the component based architecture. Actually, what is component? Maybe this name will be new to you. Actually, this is nothing but a one page. So we can call it one form or page, the existing technology we have, right? For here, everything, the page created by this component. So I demo one thing. Actually, this is the website currently I am developing. So now you are seeing so many things. Here we have a side nav bar. This is one component. Under So actually within the south side navy bar, we have the menu items. These menu items, I have one component, and this header, the orders, right? This is the one component. If you navigate to some other menu item, so title will be different. So this is the one item, and here actually start week, end week, load button, and all we have one component, and this grid is a one component. So within this grid, we have another grid. So nested grid. So this is a different component. Okay, so everything in Angular call it as the component as per the display purpose. So the component, what is the beauty of is that they can be reusable. So if you see in header title, it shows order. If you click here account status, there also we have, right. So this is the only one component we have reused for the all the pages. What is the purpose here? So if you want to change the account status color or font means the one place, if you change it one place, it will be reflected to all the pages. So this is the main thing. Also in the grid also, you can see one nested grid, right? So this grid also we can use it anywhere. So here it acts as a child a grid. We can use as a main grid in another area also. So this is the actually this way, that's why called Angular is a component based. Okay, and unit testable. Um, actually in Angular is actually your CSS, HTML, and coding area. So that and all very neat, very organized. Within the same page, if you see some other JavaScript file and all, the same page you can write the HTML code, JavaScript, and CSS and all. We can have it even what that is a default way for that. Okay, but in Angular we cannot go for that. We have four different files for one page. Even one title we shown, right. For the title, we need four files. So easily we can test each part. Okay, so that's the beauty of the thing. We have separate session for unit testing. Okay, so let's see that way. And another thing is that for any programming language written by another language, right? So this Angular actually written in TypeScript and JavaScript. So let's go to repository page again. So here, if you go down, so this is the languages used for developing the Angular. So TypeScript 85%, JavaScript and other things and all of it. Okay, so mainly TypeScript is the main thing to writing Angular. Okay. Actually, this is the difference between the Angular JS and Angular. So if you are new to Angular, you can ask. I am hearing two kind of terms: Angular JS, Angular. So both are same, right? So before Angular JS, we call sometimes Angular only. But after coming Angular 2 only, specifically we need to tell Angular JS or Angular. So what is the main difference? We need not go for a big list of differences. Only one difference is that Angular is TypeScript based. Okay, but Angular JS is JavaScript based. So actually, when they up to 1.6 they developed. Okay, so 1.1.1.2 like that they were developing initially. After that they felt so we need to change this Angular library to framework, and we need to support more object oriented thing. That time they found that so by supporting through the JavaScript, it is difficult to adding more features. That's why they decided to rewrite the entire thing. And by using Java TypeScript, we need to write the thing. That's why that time only they added more thing, routing and dependency, more thing they added in uh, actually in Angular. Okay, so don't think much about the Angular JS. Angular JS, no one is not start developing now as of now. Okay, they might have maintaining that old project, but there is no scope for that. But that is easier only. Maybe if you want to see that code, it's very comparable to Vue.js or AngularJS. The same page you can write here. So like that. And this is developed by Google and, and developed and maintained by Google and released in the first version. So Angular 2 released in September 2016. This is the official website. So you can go on this link. This is the official website. When you go for documents, you can see all those things. What are all the new thing and what are all the references, best practices, and tutorial also here available. For each features, you can get authenticated way to implement. But little bit harder to read this one. So that's why people always go for some easier one. But anyhow, this is the first and reference for your development. Okay, this is about the introduction about Angular. In simple way, we can explain about the things. We can go further, but just I want to know what is the main difference between Angular and other server side application. Okay, so this is the main thing you need to understand. And the requirements. What are the requirements to uh, working for Angular? The first one, if you go for some other software, we need that exes or MSH files or installation files and all available, right? But here actually how it will work. Okay, this is works like it's a package kind of. Okay, so here to work we need to create one environment node package manager npm we need. Okay, for that in our application we need Node.js. Why we Node.js means Angular is JavaScript based. That's why it's called the JavaScript framework, right? For the JavaScript environment, we need Node.js. Apart from that, nothing we will use. Actually, another term is the Node.js, that is backend development. So, in many of you developing the APIs endpoints in ASP.NET, right? Instead of ASP.NET, we can develop your endpoint in Node.js. Okay, there you can write the APIs under. Okay, that is different. Okay, so, but here for each and every system we should have for any JavaScript framework we need to we need this Node.js. Okay, so if we go to this link, so it will leads to here. So here we need to select the latest version. Okay, but if your project actually you are using a node 16 or that only your project supports means you download that also. Okay, that's why given here that is optional, but always you go for the new thing for your newer development learning purpose and all you can directly download the latest and based on your operating system and the running environment. So you need to click here. Like other packages, very easy. Next, just we need to give next. We can go. Okay. So just double click on that. Just you need to go next. Actually, since already I installed my system, it is asking to repair or remove. So in your case, uh, since this is a newer to you, it will you can go for just to give next 5 or 6 times. It will ask. After that, it will start download or install the Node.js in your application. Okay. So once you complete successful implementation here, so how we need to check whether we have Node.js in your system or not. Okay. So you go to any command line from any folder, node-v. So it will give the version. If it gives any version means you have installed in your system. Already, if you are using other system or if they given the system already this configured means just you go on to check node-v, it will give the version. Otherwise, unknown command means you don't have. So you go on install that. And another thing is that if you have different version, so now I am using the latest version, it asks me to repair or remove. But if next version, now node 20, if 2013 comes means it won't ask this and that. It will install automatically the newer version. The same version only it will ask. So if you use the older version, feel free to install once again to replace the existing version. So newer version will be available to your environment. Okay, so now we came to know that we successfully implement and installed that Node.js.
We can try to install multiple versions, right?
Yeah, multiple version also we can install.
So,
But there is a way actually. We can tell the environment which version we need to use currently, because in one folder we can have Angular 16. In another folder we can have Angular maybe 9. So that time Angular, uh, one type of Angular won't support the Node. For that Angular application will complain about, to run this application we need node environment version this and above. So that time we can activate. We can disable one node version and activate the other node version, means it will work. So we can use at a time. So, okay, next we need to go for Angular CLI. So, very important package for Angular. It's a command line interface, this Angular. Actually, what it will do, instead of to create the new project, what we need to do, create project, just to think in your existing software and in MVC or you need to create the new project, and you go and add classes and controllers and many things you need to add, right? But here Angular CLI, what it will do, it will make your job very easy. So if it will create a project with all the setup, with that setup immediately you can start developing. That is the beauty here. Otherwise you need to add the dependencies, what are all the output folder we need to configure, that deployment, other things and all very complicated if you go for the manual way. But in Angular CLI, it automates the many way within one or two one line code almost, and one line code. You can do many other things in the Angular. To add this one, we need to implement. So once the Node.js available, we can start uh, download the package. Okay, so now npm I means installed. Okay, npm install which package. So you can go on the search. So Angular CLI. So just you go on the search in Google, npm Angular CLI. So if you search in that way, so it will give the link. So this npm JS is a website. It provides the packages. So here, so install, how to install. So npm I and Angular CLI. So just you copy and go to our environment. We created the environment, right? So just you paste here. So if you execute this, it will install that package. This is the way for install all the package, even TypeScript or any other package. This is a command. Okay, this is because the node you have installed. Okay, so now it installed Angular CLI. To verify, so Angular CLI have been installed successfully or not, or whatever the current version means, you can go for ngv, I think. Yeah, so this is Angular CLI. This is Angular version actually, 70.3. That is the version. And many dependencies along with the Angular CLI, it actually downloaded these things. Here you can find one difference. Here we started npm, here ng. So what is the main difference is that ng means the Angular CLI command. Once you installed Angular, right? So Angular CLI, right? From hereafter, we will use so Angular related work, all the to run your application, Angular application, build the application or testing your application. For all those things, we need to use the Angular CLI command. As I said, manually you need not go on. Hereafter, we are going to use only the Angular CLI command. If we need a new package, then only we need to go for the npm. Okay, only getting the package or install or uninstall. That time you need to use npm. Other than any Angular command, we need to use for the ng. Ng means Angular actually. You need to use that ng command here. So in this slide, that only I explain. Okay, apart from that, we need to install TypeScript, npm I TypeScript. Actually, this thing actually IDE. What are the IDE supports? Mostly the Visual Studios is a very free version. These are all some licensing, the WebStorm and other things are licensing. So I recommend to install in your system Visual Studio if you don't have already. Okay, so this is about the TypeScript and IDE. So let's continue the Angular CLI. So Angular CLI is a command line interface. What it will do? So it creates a new project with scaffolding structure and the dependence. So the ready state, you create one project and you give to your hand to do the next further. Okay. So and it runs the application in local web server. In your browser, it will show the result. And compiles the TypeScript code and the bundling and the dependency, many things it will do. Okay. Because it has a compiler, it will compile your JavaScript to TypeScript to JavaScript. So I think you might have known this. Our browser won't understand TypeScript and all. Only it knows JavaScript. How some remote person, so village person knows only Tamil, right? Like that, browser understand only JavaScript. So even now in Angular, actually we are using TypeScript, right? So to compile that transpile from JavaScript to TypeScript to JavaScript, Angular CLI is important, and it does minify and zip and other deployment and all it will do, and running integration test and unit test. It runs that one. In upcoming sessions, we will see more. Now, what we are going to do? Let's see some Angular command, Angular CLI command, and now we are going to create one project, one simple project. With that, I conclude this session. So you go on to create a project in your system. First, you install Node, then CLI, then you start creating the new project and see the structure. This is the only one thing we are going to do. Okay, so to create the new project, we need to type ng new and project name. Okay. So let's go to here. Okay, let's create the new project. ng new demo one. This is the project name. Okay. When I give create the new project, it will ask whether do I need to add any routing feature for you or some static pages may not be need, but let's add yes. Yes, I need the routing. It will add routing module. And here, what kind of CSS you are going to use? So we have 4 type of CSS. One is the normal HTML CSS you are seeing, right? That CSS. Another one is SCSS and SAS and LESS. Actually, this and all style framework, I will give more information. Actually, we have dedicated session for the handling styles and all. As of now, we use SCSS. Okay. Once you select the type, it will create the new project. You can see here what and all it's creating. Okay, while creating, let's see the other commands. So ng new, actually currently we are using. Okay, next ng build. So why we need this building? So before executing our website, showing the website to browser, you should create the build. On the other hand, once you complete the feature or particular project, you need to deploy your project into server means we need to build the application. It will create the artifacts. Artifacts means comprised version of the resource file and other things. We then that only we need to copy into server, right? So that thing it will do. So ng build means it builds your projects into dist folder. Okay, and the ng serve actually same as build. It builds as well as it shows the result in local server. In browser, it shows. So once if you create the project, you will do this and that. ng test. This is test your code. ng test means it will by using the testing framework, it will test and show the result. And the ng version we saw before. This is about the creating component. I said no, actually a component is the basic building blocks of Angular. So now we are going to create one more component addition with the new project and see how the component will be. I hope now project will be ready. Still it's going on. Yeah, now successfully project is created. Let's open the project and see how what are all the folder structures of Angular. So our project name is demo one, right? So it would have created one folder, cd demo one, and open the project. We can open in either way. One through command we can open the project. Otherwise we can go for Visual Studio. From there we can open. So first way we will see code. That means it will open the current project. Which project you are. So this is the current project. Otherwise, if you had installed in your system Visual Studio already, it will show here. Otherwise, you go and download Visual Studio code from the website and start using for development. So I'm creating Visual Studio code. The file, actually open folder. This is the way to open Angular here. So here, so newly we have created demo one, right? You need to select that folder. So select folder, so it will show. So this is the folder structure of Angular. Let's look one by one. So before that, just we execute this project. So nothing we done for this project. Only Angular CLI created one template project for me. Just I to execute this project. To execute the project, actually we have ng serve. We seen right. So ng serve. Actually, for deployment, you are going to deploy your changes means we can go for ng build. But now we are going to see the result in browser. So ng serve we need to give. Along with that, several option is there. ng serve -o means it will serve and open it automatically. I show the different here. Let me do this question. So it will build, first it will check the errors and all, then it will build and the result will be available in local port. So after generating result, we will see what is the reason for what you are seeing, what is the page, how the page and all created. So you can see here the browser, the link, right? So it says your Angular component is ready, so you can go and watch the result. So you need to click here. See, this is the page. Actually, we haven't created anything. This component, this page created by Angular CLI for testing purposes. So if you feel this look and feel and all is good, means you can change the label according to your website. You can keep this one, the header, we can keep as it is. and change instead of welcome, you can give your own website, and you can change all those other things, and then you can go and see. So I close this, and this manually we need to open. No, that's why I said we need to ng serve hyphen o. That means you serve the website, also open it. We can automate this process actually. The configuration file, if we mention, we can change. It will do the same process, but this time after serving the website, it will open it automatically. Okay, so this is the difference. So ng serve hyphen o. Put it down. And okay.
Sir, I have one question. So in the terminal window, right? So npm run start also we can give to run the command application.
Yeah, we can try it. So close. This means Control C means it will come to actually Angular application won't be in the running mode. Here actually npm
Run
run. I think
start.
npm start we need to give.
Yeah,
actually.
run start is npm run run start.
npm start means see ng serve only it internally calls. So then directly we can go for ng serve, right? So you can use npm start or ng serve. So ng serve hyphen o. So the thing. Okay, right. I close this execution to save the time. Okay, now let's look the folder structure. So since this is the first class, you understand about the Angular folder structure. So we saw one output, right? Here. So we saw this output, right? Actually, this page comes from where? From in the Angular folder structure. From where this folder structure came? Let's see. Actually, in source, you are seeing here the source, no? Here, source and app. Within the app only, our component, user component will be available. Apart from this, something available that is for some other purpose. I will explain in a minute. So you are seeing here app.component. So just to see the component relate the name. 4 files are there. So for one page, we need 4 files. That's why I said the Angular is very organized. Only it separate all the HTML file into HTML file, one page. Okay. And CSS style related thing will be here. And this is spec. This is the test cases related and business logic. So declaring the variable and click button, what it has to do, how the get the data from endpoints, that and all we need to write in this TypeScript TS file. Okay, so here you need to write in TS file. It has mapping, so you can see it's a component, right? In this component, it has actually I explain the selector later. So what are the template, which HTML I am going to use? So we have here itself Angular, right? So this HTML, this CSS, that information will be there. So this is a metadata about this component, and this is the one class. Okay, so this is our class. Within the class, we can add more business logic. Let's run once again this one and make some changes, and let's see. So you are seeing demo one app is running, right? So let's look actually where it's present in HTML. So app is running in time. So where it is available actually in HTML, right? So this is the area to reason for showing the text. So here app is running. You can notice here it's a title. What is this title? Actually, this is a one variable in TS file we are seeing this. Okay, so title is a variable. In title, we are adding one value. That value will be displayed here. Okay, this is the reason. So instead of title one, we change some demo one. We change sample project. So once save, automatically it will. So let's see. Sample result is shown. So one page, but 4 files. We forget about the testing files because most of the development won't use the testing and all. But primarily we need 3 files. TS, that business logic we need to write, and what you are seeing this HTML page. HTML CSS will be in separate file we are having. Okay, so this is the basic building blocks for one page. Okay, so you are clear about these 4 files, right? At least these 3 files. CSS is very clear, and HTML, what are the things you are want to display that should be available in HTML part, and any business logic means you need to write in TS. Okay. As per the TS file, you can see here it doesn't have any scope and type. Actually, we haven't declared anything. It is a string, nothing character, nothing we said. And this is the public or private, that and all we haven't anything mentioned. No? You know, all the programming language having some default behavior. Actually, in Angular, in TypeScript, default behavior is uh, all scope is public. Okay, I make it private in this one. See, title is private, only accessible within component. Within that same TS file, it is available. So if you give any message or if you try to use this thing within in any other command, it is available. But outside of this file should be available means the public. Okay, so by default behavior is so public. So this kind of things we will see later. So just I tell, and also here what is the type of this thing? String we know. Okay, we can give string. But default it in actually TypeScript takes any type is that actually. Okay, so in next class we will see when we need to go for any that and all we will see.
Sir, I have one question.
Hmm.
The title, can I use any other component as well?
No,
No.
we cannot use the other
Okay.
component.
So only for this TS and
Yeah,
CSHTML.
CSS. Its scope is available within this component
This
scope.
component.
Actually, you related here, right?
Okay.
So this component with you marry with this TS file with this HTML file.
Okay, understood.
So here available. So not even if you place any, this is a one component. Within this one component, if we place the child component, for the child component also, this title won't be available. So if you want to make it available, you need to input that type
Yeah.
and all we will see
Yeah,
later.
okay.
So we will have
no.
how to share the value among the components means several ways are there. That and all we will discuss in the
Okay. No, just I want, you are saying it is a public, right?
Yeah,
So it is
public,
common to all,
yeah,
I thought.
public for this scope.
Okay.
So in HTML and here. Okay. So this is about the thing. Let's go for the other files what we can see. Okay. So this is about so Angular we installed, right? That information. Normally we won't go and touch anything here. And this is about VS Code. And this is the node modules. So what are the packages we have installed? If you go for any moment.js or some date related packages are there. So if you install any packages that should be available here. Okay, so this is for that, but normally we won't go and change anything. Just we can see the reference. And as I explained before, what are the users related code available that should be available within the source. Okay, so that's the thing we seen. But apart from that, we have the routing module is there. So when routing part come, let's discuss more. So routing means nothing. So here it shows, right? So CLI, right? So even our page. So currently it is showing the home page. So if you want to show the product page means we need to write a separate component and set path in routing. So in path, the routing path is product means you load this component. So this is a configuration. That configuration can show, even we can type search here. See, actually, path is the first component. Then which component we need to load. So path we need to give product, and we need to create one product component. So this is common for Vue and React. Even actually in MEC and all same kind of things. But it is called as a component. There will be another resource. Okay. So that is the for that file. So that kind of the routing details we need to write here. So that is the reason routing module is there. And most important thing is that Angular actually module, app module. Okay, so this is the center place for our application. So before Angular 15, so at least one app module file should be there because it has the information for all the if you share one services here, if you have, see, this is the browsing module, right? Actually this module for running our application for in browser, right? So this feature available for all the components. Now we have only one component, app component we have declared here, right? So if you want to add more components, that component also we need to add browser module means we can go and add in each component, or we can import in only one place. So this is the general place kind of things. If you have any general information, this third party, the module, or some services, that and all I will explain more. So you are not familiar about that. So this is a common place. It share the resources among the components. Just that one thing you understand. And here, actually, Bootstrap means even though our Angular has several components, which is the first component? Which components I need to load? We need to instruct things to Angular. Okay, so now we have app component, right? Let's create one more component here. So for that, we need not close the running. We can go and add another shell script here. So to adding one more component, what is the command here? See, ng generate component and the component name, right? So let's go on that now. Ng generate, you can type fully, otherwise short form. Let's always go for short form. Ng generate G and component. Instead of component, we can type C and home. This is a very short form for adding one more component in Angular. So I am adding here. So Angular CLA, ng is Angular CLA command. Angular CLA automatically create 4 new files for us. Okay. So otherwise we need to add first in one TS, we need to add that and all add. We need to mention that name in TS. That and all is a huge process. So here Angular CLA automatically add one more file here. see here, automatically it adds in declaration, right? So that and all need not add. Angular CLI will take care. And now what I am going to do, instead of app component, please load home component. Okay, this is the meaning for Bootstrap, which is the default landing page for our application. So actually in this page only it is running. So let's save now. So now if I go and see, okay, let's stop right here. So now home component will be display. In home component, we don't have any text, only home component works by default text. So if I go and see, so home component added within folder, if you go and see in here, so home works, that only, that should be displayed now. Hey, what mistake is that? We need to save the entire thing. What do we save?
Router outlet we need to check this. Or home router.
Nothing. Actually, as of now, we are using any route. Oh, okay, okay. So here actually, what we need to do, uh, okay, that part is okay. To fix the immediately, I fix that one. What we I need to do, I explain why what is the issue. Actually, the selector we need to mention. That is the reason. I explain the reason. Now it would happen. See, now home works, right? Okay, so I explain why it happened. So what we did here, we instruct Angular. So even though I have two components, the home component should be my first component. That's the thing. Now let's go for the other files. Okay, and in assets we have uh, fav icon, right? The favorite icon. Actually, ERCA, right? So that is for our website. So if your company having some logo, means that file, that file, if you have it instead of that one, means automatically your logo will be displayed. Zoom and all without logo, right? Like that, we also can the logo. That is the reason for here. So index file, as I said, no, it's a single page application. So only one file for our application. Every user file within will be rendered within this app root. Okay, within this place only everything render. That's why in this app root, note this one, I give this app root because this component where should be rendered. So that selector name we need to give. Okay, so actually, and by default it has the selector. That's why it worked. But when I created the new component, it's having the different name. Actually, before it was app home. That's why it failed to load. Okay, so all the things should have. If you want to bootstrap your this component, this landing component means we should match that name to this app root. Or you can have different name. So instead of this one, I give easy growth. That is our wish only. I gave this group here and I go on that. This group then here. if you change multiple place means go and give save all. So since I saved automatically, here, see, now it's working. So that is user defined name only. You can define any name, but that is actually convention. So you need to give in HTML file, you need to give one tag here. Within the tag only, all the application will be loaded. So this HTML is an important thing, and main.ts. So in Java or C# and all, main file one will be there, right? Your class, the first, the main is a parent program should execute, right? Like that, we have main.ts for Angular. This TS only will be executed first. TS and HTML, these two only executed first. And the styles, this is a common style. So if you want to use the same style for all the component means, you can, this is a common place to write your styles. These are all Git related thing and Angular JS. Okay, let me complete within another 5 minutes. So here, even though we have several things, don't confuse with any other thing. Just I explain. This is the build, right? This is the one. This is only important thing. Okay. So within the build, you can see which is the output folder. If you run, deploy your application, create the artifacts means artifacts which folder will be created, which will be available in demo one folder. And what is your index file name? So we have given index one, right? Instead of that, we can have different file. Okay. If you change this file name, you need to mention here. So this is my index file. And like that, the main TS also you can change. We can have init name and the folly fields. This one I explain more in the next session. In one line means if browser doesn't support the particular feature means it will support the same feature by using the previous version. It mainly for this is JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript. Now year 17 is the latest thing I think. So if you used feature from the latest JavaScript, all the browser won't support that one. For example, Firefox doesn't support the newer JavaScript file means this zone.js will take the give the same result by using the previous JavaScript version. So that's what we are mentioning here, and where the TS config file is available. TS config means TypeScript related. So we will see in next session while we learning the TypeScript. This and all assets where the favy icon, asset where we are having common files. This and all the general information, the metadata about the Angular. Okay, so with that, we will conclude. Almost we covered more than 1 hour. Okay, so what I advise you, we have more than 1 week. So next session will be next to Thursday only. So I share this information. First, install the node, then Angular CLI, and create the one project and play with that. So you change something in your TS file and execute and see that. Okay. So that's why because of the basic session only, I took more theory part. So I explained what is that, how the client side rendering, server side rendering, what is happening with that and all. In next session, actually, mostly we will cover TypeScript. What is the essential TypeScript code? Actually, I have taken 4 sessions JavaScript and TypeScript last year. That will be available. I think that is available in online. Kavita has asked Kavita to share that information. You go and go through that videos. Otherwise, in your own effort, if you don't know already TypeScript, you go and learn something from internet. Okay. So next session I cover very important thing. The first 30 minutes I will cover what are all the features very essential for our Angular development. Then we will start about what is the basic building blocks for Angular. Only we learned about the component. In component itself, we have many things to explain. Then I explain all those things for Angular important thing. Then we cover more advanced topics. Okay, mostly I am not going to cover all those things in Angular. Definitely 10 session and all not enough for that. But for one project. The final session, we are going to develop one project in front of you from that Angular view. We have some employees, list of employees, adding employees, delete or changing employee. This kind of one small application we will develop. Okay, with support of you. Okay, we develop that one. You have it in your own folder actually in your system, and you repeat the same. So after convenient, you are confident about this development now. Directly, you can apply for any Angular job. You can go on the because anything, everything started with simple steps only, right? So for that level, for why I am explaining this, I am going to cover the topics which are very essential for Angular development. That's why that's the thing I am going to cover. Not all. That is not possible. That's why I have given the topics today. Jayan also given that JSON, JSON Web Token, JWT. How we need to develop in ASP.NET or any Node.js. How we need to implement that authentication. While we navigate one page to another page, we need to check. In routing itself, we need to check. Still, if we need to store the token in session storage or any other cookies or local storage. If you tampering something, if you change something, means what is happening. That and all I will explain. Okay, that and all we need to cover means first we need to learn the routing, then only we need to cover that and all. I add those things. So if you need more topic means just to ask me, we will cover all those. Okay. So any other question? Mostly basic only we cover. Even though if you don't have nothing comes to me your mind, or later you realize that okay, I thought to ask this one. Means you ask me personally, we will discuss more about that. And also, if you struggle to install while installing, do creating the project and all, if you struggle any means, I will call me. I come person or we let's share the screen and fix it. Okay, team. Any question?
Yeah, James. I have a question. So I'm not sure which versions you are using now. So when I install Angular 17 plus, okay, so I have another two files. It is related server.ts. Would you please explain what is server.ts?
Actually, server.ts means actually that is the internal file only. Uh, Actually, in package.json, in your actually any project, if you go and see a package.json means it will reveal what is your version. So here actually it's so 17.
I am also installing 17, but it's showing server.ts is additional file. That's why I'm asking. One second.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so you need 17 or you need 17 only, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then, Jane, then you stay this call because others maybe more than 1 hour it takes, right? So if you want others, if you want you stay in this call, otherwise you can leave. We can see to next session. Okay. Okay. I hope others might have left the call. So let's.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Shall I share my screen?
Okay. Stop sharing.
Yeah, one second. I will share my screen.
Okay, Jane.
So I have installed the Angular 17 version.
Mhm.
Okay. See, so here we have a, another one file like server.ts. So if I enter into the server.ts, I think it's showing Express and Node.js related things, stuffs, I think.
Yeah, where you got this file? Normally, the Node.js only will have server.ts.
Mhm.
Actually, have you created this file or just you copied and pasted into it?
No, I am just installed through the ng new application name.
Uh, uh, uh.
So it is like I go through the documents, they are showing it is like a SSR something, but I am not aware of that one. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, because normally that server.ts and all, normally it used for creating backends. So API.
Okay.
So I actually, in my system, actually, let's install 17, Angular 17 and
Okay.
see whether it's creating. But I tried
Yeah.
it before. Okay, you stop your sharing. I share my screen and okay, what we will do? Let's go and add in second mission. Actually, let's add Angular newer version. So, okay, we take this one. By default, it takes the latest one only. Mm, let's go to our area. Remove the list and paste it. Okay, npm I Angular. Now the latest Angular will be load here. Okay, what we need to do? We need to
think you need to install globally hyphen G. Actually, at Angular CLI. Slash.
CLI.
No, slash. CLI.
Because the new project and all the Express by default it won't add.
That only maybe in server side rendering added by default, I guess.
Oh, have you tried that Angular Universal?
No, not Angular Universal. So I can just create a project using as per the documents ng new followed by the project name.
Oh,
Can you create new one? No. We'll see what.
stay from CLI, Angular CLI. Otherwise, you go on to get the particular version. This in let's go for this. But it is also so. Hmm?
Second.
This one.
No, that code.
Where is different? This is about.
We can read by the version,
Hmm.
not the CLI
Okay, okay.
version.
Let's try that one because if you go the latest was 17.3, right? So if we go now, it will show now the version and all. Then we rename. So let's take this one. Let's take 17 now.
3.3.
This time, introduce the latest one. Okay, let's secure the version. Yes, still some.
Actually, this one is you are creating the project as a 15 version, correct? So we need to create a new one.
Okay, then first we
We will create in some other folder instead of project. We will create project one, and then from there we will. Yeah, here we will make one. Here in LG version.
yeah, here we have CLA only. Then we create NG.
Yeah. So here we are asking server side rendering, correct? Could you please type yes?
Oh, actually, just you are trying to develop server-side rendering. Server-side rendering means Angular universal. So if you don't need normal Angular means you need to go for no. You need to give no. Do you
Okay.
understand?
Okay.
Then so I give no now. So that's why I asked you because so that normal server TSL file and all I have seen in Node.js. So the API development, the Express and all by default is coming because Express gives that HTTP handling and
Hmm.
all. So actually you created project with the server side rendering. Because
Okay. So for
Angular
example, if I am planning to create a mean stack application means, so here I need to create application as a SSR or the plain one.
plain only you need to go. For the,
Okay.
what you do, actually the mean stack means actually so MongoDB, Node, Angular, and Express. Okay, so this is the expansion of that. For Node.js, we need to create a separate application, server application. That
Okay.
is the server that TS it says.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you need you should not have the same within the same application. We cannot have API development and front end.
Oh,
Just
okay. Okay. Got it.
either front end or back end. So
Yeah.
this is the thing, Jayan. So if you create option with no, so by default it would have take yes. That's the main issue.
Okay. Okay.
Now
Got it.
let's go for test one.
So if you are creating the application as a universal, so we the application have a Angular as well as Node.js within the same project.
No. Actually, Angular is a client side. Actually, in the year also we saw right. So actually, the client side rendering.
Mm.
So if you want the server side rendering for Angular, what is the way? So that is the answer for client side rendering. You want to use Angular for client side rendering means you need to go that path. So two ways are there. So 99% people will use for the client side rendering for normal Angular development. Sometimes for server side rendering, very static files. So normally server side rendering and all when people will go to optimize actually the search engine, right? So that reason only people will go. You involve in more dynamic application means you need to go for the client side. Server side means only the HTML, CSS file only available means you can go for the server side rendering. So actually we have separate session, Jayan, for
Okay.
server rendering itself. Actually, you can notice here. So Angular Universal is the server side rendering for Angular applications.
Okay.
Okay, so then I create one project in with server side rendering, how it reacts in contrast to our client side rendering of Angular. That we will see the thing. So now you see the project. Okay, now so now definitely that server that and all won't be available yet. See, now you go and add the what the normal the command.
Okay, got it.
The serve hyphen o means it will create the project. So while in the create the project, actually you need to select no for client.
Mm.
Let's first learn the client side rendering in Angular. Then we'll have final session for the server side rendering. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So this is the different. So actually UI is different than Angular. Before we saw Angular 15, this is Angular 17. Angular 17 UI is like that. But default UI, we can change. To anything.
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Jayan.
Yeah,
So
thank you so much.
so the newer version is asking. So the previous session and all, by default, it go for always the client side rendering. For the newer version, it is asking the question about whether you are go for server side or client side. That's why I explained more about what is server side rendering and client side rendering, the initial stage. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jayan.